Tonight, police out in force reminding South Australians to drive within the limit, and Sanjeev Gupta approaches the federal government for a loan guarantee.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with Louise Hedger begins now.
Good evening. Speeding South Australian drivers will be in the sights of police over the next 4 days in an attempt to curb this year's horror road toll. Authorities say speed has been a factor in a number of deadly crashes. Garth Burley has the story.
Police have today commenced its highly visible presence on roads across regional South Australia as part of Operation Safe Speed. The 4-day blitz will have a strict focus on speeding drivers. The state's road toll currently stands at 75 compared with 45 at the same time last year. And police say in 20% of those fatal crashes, excessive speed was a contributing factor.
65% or 49 of those deaths have occurred on regional and rural roads, so we're definitely in the area where these crashes and deaths are occurring.
The operation will run until midnight on Thursday, and while it is about education, police say it makes no apologies for enforcing the road rules to those who choose to do the wrong thing.
What we want to do is to reduce the fatalities occurring on our roads.
It follows a similar sting at Stirling North last Thursday, targeting the fatal 5 factors in crashes, which includes drink or drug driving, inattention, speeding and not wearing a seatbelt. 4 drivers allegedly returned positive samples for drugs, while 38 defect notices were issued. Authorities across the country, including New South Wales, will also join forces tomorrow for a national call to action on our roads.
Again, you'll see a high presence of policing across our rural and regional roads everywhere in Australia.
The state government today also launched its Think messaging, which is hoping to spark a behavioural change in drivers.
A survey from the New South Wales government claims many Broken Hill locals are happy with the pipeline's water quality, but some locals say they're still on the fence, deciding to stick with bottled water.
From the tap or from the bottle, the jury's still out.
We've used tap water, made a cup of tea with it this morning. It was lovely.
I wouldn't water my plants with it.
Of the 400 locals asked in a recent survey conducted by the government, 74% of responders claim the water was good or very good. 63% saying there was a noticeable change in colour, 57% describing a better taste. But out on the streets today, opinions were 50-50.
Yes, and I don't like the taste of it.
Before the pipeline went in, the water was absolutely disgraceful. You couldn't drink it. And now you can drink it. It tastes fine to me.
It still has an outlying taste of dirt.
No, it was fine.
The state's water minister says the pipeline couldn't have come at a better time for Broken Hill, adding that 30% of people are now buying less bottled water. One local distributor not seeing any change.
Both of our stores here at Schnella's and IGA Fresh, we haven't noticed a drop through winter. We're about line ball with last year.
Mick says he'll get a better understanding of water retail when summer arrives. Historically, sales triple in the hotter months. While the pipeline may have improved water quality, he says it comes down to personal preference.
Our biggest seller is 600ml bottled water, and then the next biggest seller is a 10 litre, and they still go very, very well.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
JFG Alliance has approached the federal government for financial assistance, which could take the form of a loan guarantee. A JFG spokesperson says the company has invested significantly to stabilise the wireless steelworks since 2017. Port Pirie's lead smelter upgrade received a similar loan guarantee from the state government in 2014. 2 Whyalla veterans have been honoured with a special service marking the 53rd anniversary of the Battle of Long Tan. They're encouraging other Vietnam veterans to step forward to share their stories and receive support.
These veterans sharing memories of the Vietnam War and honoured with a special service at Memorial Oval.
First Australians were lost and a lot of them were put to the test that they never thought they'd ever go to.
It's hard to forget. There's no good saying you're going to get over it, you just don't get over it.
The Battle of Long Tan is one of the most infamous conflicts in the Vietnam War. Whylla's RSL president says it was an emotional but important ceremony.
I can tell they were quite proud of doing that. With the last post and the Rivali being played, it just set the moment.
Now they're working together to encourage others to speak up and share their story.
There's not enough Vietnam veterans actually go out because a lot of them still have that stigma. They weren't recognised.
Relieving themselves more, if they got out and got amongst the camaraderie that's here, they'd find it would be a lot better.
Counselling organisations are available for Vietnam veterans dealing with the horrors faced during that chapter of Australia's history. Whyalla RSL is encouraging anyone to join their organisation in an effort to support all those who have fought for our nation.
Welcome anyone who, in any conflict, no matter how young or old.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
More than a dozen ocean warriors took to the Eyre Peninsula's beaches yesterday as part of a month-long campaign aimed at cleaning up our coastline. The team filled up 2 utes worth of rubbish that would have otherwise gone back into the ocean.
A group of ocean warriors taking the charge against rubbish. Over 70 people coming together to look after the Eyre Peninsula's pristine coastline.
It's about getting out, getting your hands in the sand and doing something good. Some people it's a bit of a confessional thing, but ultimately we just want to try and leave the place better than we found it.
The Ocean Warrior campaign kick-started by Adventure Bay Charters, the team taking out local schools and volunteers to join the clean-up effort.
Been focusing on this month mostly remote islands and beaches, so taking people out and dealing with Boston Island.
The town's aquaculture industry launching an Adopt a Beach project, helping monitor and clean nearby coastlines. These volunteers cleaning from North Shields to Port Lincoln, a 12-kilometre stretch of coastline that organisers say often gets forgotten.
The beach along here is one that's not under that program, so it makes it a public responsibility.
Volunteers turning over every stone, making sure nothing gets missed.
This is the first 5 minutes and I'm optimistic. I've grabbed 2 bags, so I'm hoping by the time I get back to Port Lincoln, I've got 2 full bags of rubbish.
According to experts, there are over 5 trillion pieces of plastic and rubbish floating in our ocean, making today an important stand against the war on waste.
Well, we don't really want to see an ocean that's got more plastic in it than fish. And if we don't start making a contribution to changing the way things are, I think the world might be in a little bit of trouble.
Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, thousands turn out for the corn races and art on show in Whyalla, drawing inspiration from nature. Welcome back. Thousands got into the racing spirit over the weekend, flocking through the gates for this year's annual Corn Cup. A local trainer celebrating a win in the main race, taking home a slice of the $8,000 prize.
It's a day in the outback these 3 Broken Hill horse owners will never forget, as their thoroughbred Bam took full advantage of a prime barrier position to steam home in the Corn Cup.
When we left to come down from Broken Hill this morning, we were hopeful, but now very, very excited.
The trio are a small percentage of the 15 others with a share in the winning horse, who was trained by Port Augusta's Dennis McMahon.
He has won in Port Lincoln, he's won in Port Augusta and he's won at Balaclava. Now he's won the Corn Cup.
The coveted main race, just one of 5 others to treat the trackside faithful.
Absolutely fantastic. They put on a really good day. It's so good for the town.
I get to come here, enjoy myself, speak to people I haven't seen in a while.
As always, fashion was high on the agenda.
This is from Oru and the hat's from eBay.
What about your fashion, all black?
That's the only colour I wear. That's all I got.
Punters trying their best to pick a winner with varying amounts of success.
I had a few bets on the other race. I won $10, so that's always good.
Oh, they scratched my horse, so I couldn't bet on it. Didn't have a bet at all.
Strong winds doing little to dampen the spirits of more than 1,000 racing fans.
Day's been perfect, actually. Like a little bit of breeze, but you can put up with that.
You just mix with people and see different old friends that you haven't seen for a long time.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Port Lincoln show has wrapped up for another year, with thousands making it through the gates over the weekend. The perfect sunny weather making up for a lack of rides at the event, with a change of the show's weekend forced the cancellation of equipment coming from Adelaide.
sun, show bags and plenty of prizes. Thousands flocked through the gates for this year's Port Lincoln show. This year there was a noticeable difference. None of the Adelaide rides set up shop due to a change in show weekends. Instead, organisers filled the spaces with plenty of food, wine and local music.
We're very excited today to have some really classy music. We were welcomed this morning with the Sing Australia and then the school choir, which was fabulous with the kids.
The show's new look winning over the local crowds.
They've set it up really lovely this time. It's real cosy.
The annual bouncy castle and sumo wrestling proving to be tough competitors for people's choice.
Probably the bouncy castle.
The annual awards for best photography and giant pumpkin on display in the pavilion, while crowds kept warm by the bonfire.
Got them all settling around the fire and the music's about to start cranking again. Food's all selling.
Going really well. Yeah, it's really lovely. Got a nice day today.
Another familiar face was Old MacDonald's farm, the animals receiving the royal treatment. But it was the little piglet who everyone wanted to take home.
Biggity small, and then it looks cute, adorable.
The Aquaculture Centre taking home best stall with octopus, crabs and tuna all on display. The sunny weather creating the perfect conditions for a fun day out.
It's great. It's a nice sunny day. Weather's good. It's warm enough. Just got the coat off and the crowds are all in.
Nathan Rector, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Whaler artists are featured in a new pop-up exhibition, Drawing on Country, which is open in the old Civic Library building. The pieces displayed were created on a statewide drawing day where artists drew inspiration from nature.
This temporary exhibition features works from artists who spent the day creating art in the Whyalla Conservation Park, getting together as part of the Sala Arts Festival.
In April, where all around South Australia artists got out into their country in plein air and did some engagement with their environment and created some art.
The spacious gallery, a fitting location for these pieces and the 200 people who attended the show's opening night.
It's been great to talk to people about Whyalla and about their artistic practice. Lots of people, good engagement, and also I think people have come to see this nice space that's been refurbished.
I feel quite honoured actually, and Deb tells us that lots of people have come through and had a look at it and remarked on the wonderful use of this space.
Participants excited to see the work of their fellow artists.
Come in and see it all on the walls. Yes, I think we've done a great job.
The pop-up or temporary theme, a popular idea among these artists.
The temporary is good too because we have a lot of visitors who come through town, and then people who live in the town like to have something different to look at.
While locals are welcoming pop-up galleries such as this, some are hoping for a more permanent gallery fixture.
Good that it could be a mobile space and be used in different ways, but it would be good to have a good art gallery in the town somewhere.
This exhibition will be open until next Friday. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Crystal Brook Football Club's plans to revamp its local oval have been given a funding boost of $60,000 from the Port Pirie Council. The funds will be spent on a new picket fence to improve safety at the ground. It's part of a cash injection of almost $1 million to build women's change rooms as well as improve other facilities. And we'll have the rest of the day's sport after the break. Pat will have the weekend football wrap and Brit will join us with the weather. Hello again. Broken Hill AFL export Isaac Cumming could play finals footy this weekend after impressing in the last round of the season. The former North Bulldog, now GWS Giant, racked up 20 disposals in his side's 72-point drubbing of the Gold Coast. Cumming made his debut for the Giants in 2018 and has now played 5 games. To local football now, and the AFL Broken Hill season will start finals this week after the last of its minor rounds on Saturday. Here's Patrick Reinke with the Monday footy wrap.
Central and North did battle here at Memorial Oval on Saturday. For the Magpies, it was the end of a tough season. For the Bulldogs, a tune-up before this week's prelim final. The Blue and Whites got out of the gates quickly, holding the home side scoreless in the first quarter. Shane Dalby was in good touch for the Dogs, slotting a couple en route to a 7-goal afternoon. In midfield, Quinton Bevan was finding the Sharon and so too was Jaden Kelly. Kelly was in ripping form, his performance on the day seeing him named North's best player 4 weeks in a row. An 8-goal second term saw the Bulldogs have the game wrapped up by half-time. The Magpies didn't give in though, managing to snag a few goals across the match. match. Among their best was Luke Neal, whose link-up play kept Central moving forward. Jason Maslett and Josh Hanford were both exceptional, but Hamish McLean was best on ground. Playing along half-back, McLean took multiple intercept marks and provided plenty of rebound from defence. His efforts were not enough to quell North's attack though, the Bulldogs winning by 98. In the other game, South held off West, the Roos are in the grand final, the Robins play North in the prelim. In the Spencer Gulf League, South Augusta and Prop Risdon were victorious and Port got their first win of the season against West. In Whyalla, West obliterated South, while Central and North got the job done. To Port Lincoln, where a 10-goal first quarter saw Tasman breeze past Boston, Mallee Park downed way back and Lincoln South upset Marble Range. Boolaroo, Melrose, Wilmington are through to the prelim in the northern areas. The same goes for Ramblers in Great Flinders. Lastly, in the York Peninsula, Baskerville and CMS Crows both snagged wins. So with finals arriving, there's never been a better time to head down to the local footy. I'll be back tomorrow night to wrap up the other sports from around the regions.
Now time to take a look at what's happening in the weather this week. Here's Britt Aylen.
Good evening. After a chilly morning, it's been a mild but mostly fine day about the Gulf. Port Augusta reached a top of 17 degrees, Whyalla, Port Lincoln, Broken Hill and Port Pirie all with tops of 15, Adelaide 14. From the satellite, we can see speckled cloud about the region due to a high pressure system sitting stationary in the Bight. Moving ahead to tomorrow now, we'll see southerly winds on the Gulf waters tending southwesterly and swells up to 1.5 metres. With minimum temperatures slipping down into single digits, we can expect another cold and frosty morning. Maximums mostly hovering around the mid to late teens with a slight chance of showers about the mid-north. Port Augusta, Woodner and Corn all looking at tops of 18 degrees, Whyalla, Port Lincoln, Broken Hill, Port Pirie, Cleve and Adelaide all 16, Kadina 15, Coffin Bay 14, Clare a top of 13 degrees. Moving ahead through the week now, Port Lincoln and Cleve both expecting showers on Wednesday, remaining fine Thursday and Friday. Another frosty morning for Woodner on Wednesday, Thursday looking sunny, Friday fine and partly cloudy. Whyalla and Port Augusta both looking fine throughout the coming days with some more sun expected on Friday. Kadina expecting showers on Wednesday, looking fine on Thursday with a sunny day on Friday. Port Pirie looking fine on Wednesday, Thursday morning frost and sun on Friday. Clare much the same with possible showers on Wednesday. Broken Hill remaining fine on Wednesday, a sunny day on Thursday with a frosty start to Friday. And with that, Louise, it's back to you.
Thank you for that, Britt. And that's your local news this Monday evening. Thank you for joining us today. We'll have updates later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.